Well, I'm up at the Manx Museum. It's fairly dark in here, but purposely so. A brand new exhibition is opening, and that has to be just like this because there's some very rare objects here. Allison's going to tell us all about it. The Chronicles of Mann are back.
They are, yeah. We're really pleased that the British Library have lent them to us again for this particular exhibition, because the stories in the Chronicles are what this exhibition is all about. It's all about this particular period of Manx history.
Okay, well, tell us a story. I mean, by the way, we've got some pictures here of its previous trips. In the 90s it was here, and I think, 5 years ago as well. So it's been back on a fairly regular basis, but it does stay in the British Museum.
It's part of the British Library's collections, and they've been really good when we've approached them with an idea for an exhibition. The last time the Chronicles was here, it was for the opening of the new Viking Gallery then at the Manx Museum in 2007. They come back now and then to take a star turn.
What are their importance?
Their importance as an object. They're important because it's the earliest document written about and perhaps on the Isle of Man. So they're about 700 years old. So just as an object, they have great significance. But almost outweighing that significance is the information they contain. They tell us about the period in Manx history when the Isle of Man was at the centre of this maritime kingdom that stretched from here up to the top of the Isle of Lewis. And we know about this from what the Chronicles say. And the Chronicles tell about all these kings battling it out for control of the Isle of Man. And it just highlights how important and what a prize the Isle of Man was back then. And
it's really kind of mind-boggling to think how the Isle of Man was the centre of this universe.
That's right, and this part of the reason for the Isle of Man being so important back then, and earlier than that, and later than that as well, is our geographical position right in the middle of the Irish Sea. So at this particular period, when we still had the Norwegian, Scandinavian influence, the people from there who were looking to trade in mainland Europe, perhaps further west as well, they used the islands in the Kingdom of Man in the Isles almost like stepping stones. They had these really nice string of islands where they could pull up their boats, do some trading, make their way down to the Isle of Man, where a lot of the kings had their home. You know, this is a time where Castle Rushen was built, Peel Castle was built, Rushen Abbey, you know, all these really important buildings were built because the Isle of Man was so important. And then they'd live here, they'd trade from here and use the Isle of Man as a base to go further afield.
Now, it's not the only item here which is of great interest. The chessmen, which we've got to be very careful about how we even light this. So tell me about this.
That's right. We're really pleased as well to be able to show people 6 of the figures from the Lewis Chessmen collection. These ones are from the collections held by the British Museum. So the British Museum have brought these over for us. There's one of each figure. So we've got 1 king, 1 queen, 1 knight, 1 berserker, 1 bishop and 1 pawn as well. But we do have to be very careful. It's the same with the Chronicles. Any organic material, which both of them are very susceptible to too much light, too much fluctuation in environmental conditions. So that's why the exhibition is quite atmospheric, but it's also to look after these fantastically precious things we've got on loan from other people, but of course the artefacts that are in the Manx National collections as well.
Okay, well, it's starting Friday as such, so there's a special viewing tonight, but how long then afterwards can people come along and see this?
It's on for about 4 months, so 9th of March will be the last day. So hopefully people will come along to have a look at the chessmen and the Chronicles and everything else, and come back again to read a bit more of the text, read a bit more about the stories. We've got a nice children's activity area in the gallery as well, so the kids can have a bit of a dress up as a mad berserker from the Lewis Chessmen set. So hopefully people will find it a nice place to come and just sort of have a bit of a think about how important the Isle of Man was 800 years ago.
Very relaxing as well, with the chanting going on in the background.
I know, we've got monks chanting, we've got the nice sea sound, we've got a nice lilting Scottish Gaelic song in the background. Yeah.
Manx Museum on, as you heard, for the next few months.